What's happening, cats? Winter storm watch in effect for today, so I'm not going anywhere. I mean, the roads are probably drivable, especially that I got four-wheel drive. I wouldn't have any trouble, but I got nowhere to go. I'll stay put. Snow's supposed to stop sometime tomorrow morning, and then I'll go out and shovel the sidewalk, but I'm not going to trouble myself with that right now. Because, you go out there and you shovel it now, you just got to go out and shovel it again. So, yeah, wait until it's all done. As I told you in some of my past videos, I've been purging some of Val's things, and it makes me stop and think. It makes me stop and wonder, about what's really valuable to us. And, as I've shared, she saved all kinds of things that to her were valuable. But then once she's gone, they have no value to me or to anybody else. Her children have been here, her son and her daughter. And I found this picture of her daughter not too long ago that was stuck in the bottom of a drawer somewhere. So I set that out. But, I've got a lot of things around here that I consider valuable. But what's the real value in it? In the showcase here is this Indian head. It's a ceramic glazed Indian head. And it's been in the family for as long as I have been alive. It was my grandfather's, and he had it sitting up on the mantle of his fireplace. And to me, to me it has great value, but only because it's a family heirloom. As far as money goes, if I were to try to sell it, let's just say I'd get $50 for it. Well, I wouldn't even get a couple bags of groceries for that. And then what would I have? Nothing. But for me to hang on to that, for me to keep that here, every time I look at it, it brings that memory of my grandfather. And it'll be passed on to my children. And I don't know if they'll value it as much as I have, but, it makes you stop and think. Once you're dead and gone, the connection that I have with that will no longer be. So, anybody else would walk in here and think, oh, it's just a ceramic Indian head. What, put it out in the yard sale, maybe. I don't know. I've got all kinds of stuff around this house that, to me, it has the value of being a family heirloom. But like I said, once I'm gone, I don't think it'll mean the same thing to my kids. Maybe, but I don't know. I've got this picture here. I don't know if I ever showed you this, but this one of these characters, I believe it's this fella right here holding the pistol. And this was taken at the Treaty of the Oklahoma Territory. Now you see the Native Indians there with their horse, and you see there's a squaw over here, and they're wheeling and dealing with the Indians. So, once I'm gone, there won't be anybody here to tell anybody what that picture is, and it may end up in a yard sale somewhere. I don't know. This was my grandfather's arrowhead collection, and it has a lot of value to me, but if you were to put those arrowheads on eBay or whatever, I don't think you'd get a whole lot for them. There's no real monetary value, and even if there was, like I said, once you sell your stuff, what do you got? A handful of cash? which you could blow at Walmart in an hour. And then it's liquidated. You got nothing. So for me, I hang on to these things. Maybe one day I'll figure, well, it's time to pass them on. I'd say we got a couple inches. This morning, I think there was about 2 inches of snow on the ground. And by looking at the snow that's on the deck there, it looks like it's, about 5 inches that we've got this morning. And it's just supposed to keep snowing. Right now, I don't know if you can see, but it's snowing very lightly. But earlier this morning, I mean, it was coming down. It was really pelting down heavy. Thank goodness the temperature's gone up, though. So I don't have to worry so much about, fighting to keep the place warm. In my last video, I talked about the wood burner and my furnace. Since that time has elapsed, I have gone ahead and bit the bullet on a new furnace, and that is supposed to come in a week or so for the installation, and that includes ductwork cleaning too, so I was pretty happy with that. And they gave me a pretty good price too for a really nice unit. This thing though, this is a story in itself, because I had called a company that, I went on the internet and I looked for local chimney cleaners, and there was a couple of them, and I found one that looked to be the most reputable. It had like a 4-star rating or something, and it was something to the nature of chimney, or professional chimney and masonry. So I thought, okay, well, these guys must know their chimneys. Well, I called them, and I explained to them exactly that I had a wood burner with the, the pipe going up to the ceiling there, and that it was plugged up at the chimney cap, way up on the roof. And if you go outside, you can actually see all the gunk up on the cap there, all the creosote buildup. So anyway, I made my appointment for noon, and I had an appointment for 2 o'clock, 2 hours later, for the furnace guy to come and talk about replacing the furnace. Well, the chimney guys were an hour and a half late. They didn't show up at noon, they didn't show up at 12:30, 1 o'clock came, 1:30 came, and then a little bit after 1:30 they show up. And there's 2 guys, like an older fella and a young guy, probably in his 20s, or mid to late 20s. And the other guy looked to maybe be in his 40s. But they come in, and they're standing here looking at my fireplace, looking at the chimney here. And they say, all right, what did you want done? I said, well, when I called, I explained it in detail that I need the chimney cleaned. Okay, well, the young guy pulls a Leatherman tool out of his pocket, and he starts taking all the screws out of the chimney there. And then he grabs hold of it. He's trying to wrestle it, thinking he's going to lift all of that off of this. Now, if you were going to take it off of there, you have to start up there with the top section, and it has like an adjustable piece on there. You take that off first, then you take that piece off, then you take if you're going to lift that whole thing, that's probably, I'm going to guess, over 100 pounds. So, what he was trying to do there was absolutely ridiculous. And I said, I don't think you can take that off there like that. And he looked at me kind of dumb like, and said, yeah, you're probably right. And he put the screws back in. He said, well, what I was going to do is lift that up and move it over, and we were going to clean the chimney out that way. And I said, what? And then all this stuff comes down all over my wood burner, all over the floor and everything? Well, yeah, that's what they were going to do. No. I said, can't you go in through the wood burner and up? He said, yeah, we'll do that. So next thing you know, they're trying to figure out how to get the door. They don't even know how to open the doors on the wood burner, nor did they even open the draft when they did get the doors open. Now, I didn't have a fire in there. There was just a little bit of hot coals in there. So they get up in there and they're looking with the flashlight, and he says, I don't think I can go up that way. I don't want to try it. And I said, well, I've done a little bit of research, but don't most chimney cleaners go up on the roof and go down that way and let the stuff fall down into the wood burner? He said, well, can I get up on your roof? And I said, well, that's up to you, not me. And when they came, my porch roof here had a little bit of snow on it, but there were some bare spots. And then the steeper roof going up to the chimney, there was no snow on that part. So he went outside and he looked at it and he said, nah, I'm not going up on that roof. I said, okay. And they decided at that point, well, there's nothing we can do. We're just going to leave. So I didn't get my chimney cleaned. They just left. And, I realized at that point these guys had no experience. Well, that wasn't the only thing that ticked me off about these two. They had their van pulled right up here. And you guys have asked me before about the cement blocks that I have in my driveway. And that pretty much blocks off the loop that goes around there. Because when I was getting deliveries, the FedEx and the UPS trucks, that loop is pretty small for a truck. And they'd end up going off in my grass and it's soft over by the shed, and they were leaving really deep ruts in my grass. So I just barricaded it off. Now in the summertime when it gets real dry, I take the bricks and put them in the shed. But in the wintertime, the blocks stay up. These ding-dongs go straight around the brick, through my grass, or what, luckily it was frozen and snow covered, all the way around, and around that block down there, and out they go. I don't know, I don't know how many deliveries, and I've never had anybody go around my blocks. It just, I don't get it. I mean, these guys must have been idiots or something. I don't know. I thought it was a bit disrespectful in a way. And maybe I'm just kind of finicky about that kind of stuff. Maybe anybody else wouldn't really care, wouldn't be a big deal. And it wasn't a big deal really because, the ground was frozen, so they were actually able to drive on the lawn without sinking in. But they had a pretty heavy van, and they were lucky at that. But I don't know. I'm not calling them back. And I probably won't call a chimney cleaner. This thing's been doing okay. I haven't had a whole lot of smoke coming out of it. I think last week some of that stuff dropped up out of there, so it has been drafting okay. But after it thaws out, I'm going to have my son come over and help me, and we can get the ladder up onto the roof. And I have another ladder that hooks up over the peak, so you don't have to walk on the steep part. You can actually walk up the ladder and then get right to the chimney, and he can help me clean the chimney cap off, and we'll run the brush through the whole chimney, and we can do it ourselves. So much for hiring professionals. And yeah, they're titled Professional Chimney and Masonry. Well, they weren't very professional here. In fact, when they left, his greasy handprints were all over this pipe. and I had to get a rag and wipe this all down and get all of his fingerprints off of there. What a mess. Well, I spent all morning cleaning house. I think my wife would have been very proud of me today because I got everything sparkling clean around here. Dusted, vacuumed, mopped, the whole shebang. And I'm happy. It gives you some sense of worth, accomplishment when you get something done, and then you look around and you go, yeah, it looks pretty good. I don't like a messy house, and she didn't either. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. I continue to pray for all of you, and I appreciate all your prayers too. I appreciate your support. I do read all the comments. It's awful difficult to respond to hundreds of comments, but I do try to respond to some of them. If you enjoyed this video, hit me with the thumbs up. And I do appreciate all of your subscriptions, all of you who have subscribed to my channel. Definitely appreciate that. Well, guys, I'm staying home, button it up here until this winter storm is done, and hopefully next week it's supposed to warm way up and everything's going to melt off, and then it's going to be a real sloppy mess. Till next time, I'll catch y'all later.